You walk in the door, and your baby runs straight past you to the other parent. And you just stand there for a second, like, oh, okay, cool. Not gonna lie, that one stings a little. Especially when you've been showing up all day, helping, playing, doing your part. And somehow, you're not the one they reach for. So your brain starts doing that thing. Did I do something wrong? Am I the backup parent now? Here's the part most people don't realize. It's not about who loves more, and it's not even about who spends more time. There's something much deeper going on here. Something your child feels, but can't explain yet. Most people assume it's simple. The baby prefers whoever spends more time with them, which sounds logical. I mean, if you're there more, doing more, surely you should be the favorite, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Babies don't measure time the way we do. They're not keeping track like dad did 3 hours, mom did 5. That would be impressive, but slightly concerning. What they're actually doing is something far more instinctive. They're constantly asking one question. Who feels safest when I don't feel okay? And that answer is what shapes who they reach for. A baby's brain is always scanning, not for who is around the most, but for who is tuned in. The parent who notices the tiny shift before the cry, picks up on the look before the meltdown, responds just a little faster. Not perfectly, just consistently. Because to a baby, that feeling matters more than anything else. It creates something called felt safety. Not I know I'm safe, but I feel safe in my body. And here's the subtle part most people miss. It's not about big moments. It's built in tiny ones. A look, a pause, a quick response, over and over again. And your baby's nervous system starts to learn, when I don't feel okay, this person helps me feel better. That's the person they'll reach for, especially when things feel overwhelming. So here's where it gets a bit more nuanced, because your baby doesn't just reach for one parent when they're upset. Sometimes they do it when they're happy too. They see one parent walk in and immediately light up, crawl, run, reach for them. And you're standing there thinking, wait, I was here the whole time. So what's going on? Here's the key difference. When a child is overwhelmed, their nervous system looks for safety. But when they're calm or excited, they move towards the person they associate with the strongest emotional pattern in that state. For some children, that might be comfort. For others, it might be play, energy, or familiarity. So it's not always the same reason, but it's always the same mechanism. They're not choosing who they love more. They're moving towards what their body has learned feels right in that moment. And this is the part that's easy to take the wrong way. The parent your child doesn't run to first can start to feel like they matter less, like they're the backup, the second choice. I've been there too, by the way. So naturally, you pull back a little. You stop trying as much. You give them space. You let the other parent take over. But the thing is, it doesn't mean what it feels like it means. That role is not smaller. It's just different. Because while one parent becomes the place a child goes to feel safe, the other often becomes the person they move with, the one they explore with, play with, push their limits with, the one who quietly says, "Go on, try it." And over time, that relationship builds something powerful: confidence, curiosity, a willingness to step out into the world. So if your child doesn't always reach for you first, it doesn't mean you matter less. be shaping a different side of who they're becoming. And over time, your child doesn't just attach to one person. They build different kinds of relationships with each of you. With one parent, they learn how to settle, how to come back, how to feel safe again when things are too much. With the other, they learn how to move forward, how to try, how to handle a little uncertainty without falling apart. And both of those matter, more than we realize. Because confidence doesn't come from comfort alone, and independence doesn't come from being pushed too fast. It comes from having both, a place to return to and a space to step out from. So even if it feels unbalanced right now, it's not broken. It's just developing. So if your child runs to the other parent sometimes, take a breath. It's not a judgment. It's not a score, and it's definitely not a measure of how much you matter. Connection isn't built in big moments. It's built in the small ones. The way you respond, the way you show up, the way you stay, even when it's not easy. And over time, your child doesn't just learn who to run to. They learn what it feels like to be safe and what it feels like to be supported as they grow. And they need both. If this is something you've been feeling, you're not alone, and you're not doing it wrong. And if you're trying to understand your child a little more, day by day, that's what we do here on Simply Raised.
Goodbye, everyone. See you next time.